we're ready for a baby. The park with you, the daycare, walking out for groceries, dog food.
But unable to expect it. The blowout chaos is not there. I have no control of my theme park environment. Aware, but in a state of anguish with no fucking footholds. I am locked into the form of a man, but I'm no longer part of mankind. I'm a beast in well-worn shoes. The automation has failed.
I mistrust everything. My organs to go paranoid. I want to destroy everything. A process of elimination.
With his ugly, with his stand, with his house.
Born into a world, aware of a life that is lived by the stars. There's but one star in the sky diffusing the glow of all others. I didn't understand birth until roughly 20 years after I'd done it. But long before that, I knew the stars. I could feel the heavens caressing my soul and the glowing stars lighting my pathways of awareness. Is birth as poorly illuminated as death? I was raised with the knowledge of right and wrong, pleasure, pain, joy, sorrow. And I can feel passion as vividly as I can feel a skinned knee. I can eat a mango, take a bath, punch a wall, make love, bleed copiously, or jump for joy and feel everything in full, rich detail. I could cry tears of joy upon looking at the night sky and its full palette of stars. One for every one who has ever laughed or wept or simply been aware of birth or death. One star outshines all others in my personal view of the heavens. I was feeling pained, I'm sure, when I discovered the star. It was in a story I read when I was very young. Ah, here it is. A woman in ancient Greece was given a box by the greater forces and was told never to open it. Curiosity being one of the more powerful human natures, she eventually felt compelled to open it. And a great flood of sloth, pain, anguish, and hatred came out. Some of it created negative feelings, as it was expected to. Some even created positive feelings when used by the weak on the more weak. Pandora cowered, the deepest fear ever known by mortal beings. She wept and wept as the dreadful contents of the box spilled out. And then there was a pause. Pandora, frightened though she was, leaned forward and peered into the box out of curiosity still unsatiated. And a feeling of great joy and overwhelming relief came to her as she embraced the last object to rise from the box. It was a brilliantly glowing, shining star. The name of the star was Hope. And from that day forward, no matter how many negative feelings, pains, or sorrows accumulated, everyone still had the hope of the star and the means to view the star, whether prayer, meditation, whatever the individual case. Hope is the continual awareness. Pain comes and goes, but hope, as they say, shines eternal.
Being afraid
not wanting to take the steps towards true freedom and independence, too afraid of what's out there, being afraid of what people think, afraid of your own decisions. You want to protect your own fragile ego so you don't even try. You have to know that you can do the job better than anyone else. And you want to believe in yourself so bad that you can taste it. Yet you're afraid to reach out and grab it, just in case it's not true. Thinking that you're not good enough for people to have faith in you. And if they did, would you believe? Would you be able to handle it? Or would you just fold under the pressure to perform? And perform well? Afraid of being in the spotlight because you are successful and because that means people will hold you up to the light to look for flaws? Why? Why do we destroy ourselves like this? Why are we the strongest hand holding us back? Why do we allow ourselves to be all that we want to be? Maybe when you were growing up, no one believed in you. If you were a boy, you may have been pressured to perform well in sports, even though you weren't good at sports, and you felt like you let your parents down because of it. If you are a girl, you may have learned that beauty, not brains, were the keys to success, so you learn to hide your intelligence and suppress your self-confidence. Boys have to be tough, even if you aren't, and this makes you unworthy. Girls learn that toughness is unfeminine, and therefore unattractive, and this makes you unworthy. Maybe you were told that you were too stupid. Maybe you were labeled by peers, parents, and teachers that you weren't too bright, and thus were treated so. So now you're feeling unworthy, inadequate, not good enough, and you try to succeed, and if you try to succeed, it'll be just that, trying, because you're not good enough to actually succeed. You may tell yourself that you're okay, but you don't really believe it. And now you're settling in life when you know you are worthy of more, but are afraid to be more. But you've got to believe in yourself in order to achieve. It's difficult to break free from the past. Sure, it's hard to let go of those chains that hold you down. They can be comforting at times, those chains, like a security blanket, keeping you safe and warm at night. But at other times, those chains can suffocate, and they will only result in choking the life out of you, if you let them. You can control them. You can learn to like yourself, trust yourself, and believe in yourself. Learn to recognize the past that's holding you down and unlearn it, and unravel those chains until you're free. And once you're free, there's only one way to go, and that's up. And you're flying high like a bird, free of the past and free of yourself.
We crawled out of the slime for one floating spell, inventing cooperation, growing a watchful eye, crawling to land, feeling gravity, extending a leg. I was conceived in the Gulf of Mexico. I floated for 9 months, broke water, crowned, emerged, and was bathed. I drank, I drained. I was baptized in water. I was purified, protected, encircled by water. I have fallen in love, and it felt like drowning. I sank deeper and deeper until the glittering surface was just a distant dream, and all I craved was the depths of my love. It was my greatest love, and it was my greatest hurt. It was an anaerobic love. Strange, water is made of so much oxygen. But it is so good to float, to just float and breathe again. I have paid the dragon of the water who is wrapped around the core of the earth, clutching the moon in its claw. If I were Japanese, I would write a haiku on rice paper and put gold leaf on it and drop it into the water, asking for the blessings of the dragon. But my troubles learned to swim. My troubles learned to swim. My troubles learned to swim! My troubles
What is this sensation? It isn't taste. As a matter of fact, the sense of taste is gone. You cannot feel your mouth move any longer. And what's that in the distance? It appears to be a mountain, but it's fading. It's transforming into something. It's turning black. Your eyes are useless. Suddenly, you're finding it hard to breathe, gasping for air, and there is none left. You feel paralyzed, unable to move. You feel a faint hit, and you're on the ground now. You must be on the ground because you can see yourself now. It is you. There are no mirrors. There are no mirrors. Color is different now. You aren't seeing things the way you're used to. You feel as light as a feather. You can't feel a thing, not even the air. But you notice how quickly you can move. Have you become the air itself? You try to call to others walking past your body, but no one hears you. Why do you need their help? There is nothing more you can do for yourself or any other human being. You are deceased. Things around you are becoming smaller. You are rising, but not at will, though. Something is pulling you like a vacuum, and you have no control. You're panicking in demand to know what exactly is the cause of this, feeling cold and alone. Nothing can stop this. No one can help you. You're leaving the physical world. Wait. Is that pulsing pool of transparent light? It looks pleasing enough, you wonder. The vacuum has stopped, and you can move at will again. You feel like a stranger entering a crowd where you know no one. You look at everything and notice instantly that it is transparent. Images of faint light, and you realize this is what you look like. You also recognize something so familiar about this place. It feels like home, and you don't know why. It feels like home, and you don't know why. You feel uncomfortable with all the voices telling you the effect will wear off in a while. You aren't even sure what's causing this effect, and you just want to believe you're dreaming. It's a dream. It has to be a dream. You have to get back and wake yourself up. It isn't real. It's a reverse psychology, because dreams feel real, but they aren't. You have a clear conscience, so it can't be a dream, and it doesn't feel real, so it is real. You are indeed dead. But how can you be dead if you can think and move about? You seek an explanation, but there are no answers that anyone can tell you, but seeming to find them out for yourself. It looks so pale, yet so bright in this place, and you wonder if this is what heaven is. But you are having one realization after another. It's finally coming together. This was the last of your experiences on Earth. You finally passed the test after living 18 different lives. You achieved all your spiritual goals, and therefore didn't need to continue living, and died of natural causes. You were meant to go when you did, because you fulfilled your quest. You are now free in spirit to travel between dimensions and channel through other lives at will. You are now free in spirit to travel. You are free to haunt individuals who need to be taught a lesson. You are free in this plane where there's no conflict, no evils, no worries, no need for material objects, no need for hate, greed, power. Everything and everyone is a true equal. You can understand that you chose life on Earth as a human, as a spiritual vacation, from all that is peaceful, content, and mature, to all that is material, all that is a struggle, a challenge. Now that you have an understanding of people, you can go back and forth without upsetting the balance. The next step is to lend your complete understanding and knowledge to help others still in physical form, to get through their struggles and false conceptions of what their purpose is. It seems death isn't so bad after all.
My pink brain in a cute little package? I am not insane! I've gone so far to be unlike you that I've become you. My intention to be Christ-like has propelled me into deviltry, not like Christ, but as Christ, same degree in the opposite direction, better than you're better, worse than you're worse. I'm slipping, and you coated your hand with grease. You're giddy with tragedy. I heard you set this up. I'm not crazy. I'm not a fucking animal. You think this is crazy? I think you set this up for years, tripping me up with these preset sleeveling travesties. I'm gonna go down in a hail of bullet-shaped pills. I'm going to fuck every cell individually with the spider between my legs. Each of its legs a syringe, each hair on each leg a syringe, milking the light from each dream, a double-headed screw. The farther I run, the farther I crawl into you, my faulty womb. I'm nailed inside with 2 children who until now have been living inside my chest, pretending to be lungs, each red sunburn. One sad, feeling sorry for himself, the other angry and biting. I've got to comfort them instead of beating them. I'm beating my chest. I'm beating myself. I can't take it anymore. Destroy me. I need you. I've tried. I've taken myself down to pieces and brung myself back up. I fucking hate you. I hate myself. I wish I could kill you. I wish you could kill me. I wish I could remember my dreams. I wish. Give me back my candy land. I'm so bitter. Such a fuck, a loser extraordinaire. I'm good at fucking myself up. I'm good at it. I pretend I'm you and that I'm self-destructive. No! I'm so sorry! Don't break me! Don't break me! No. I won't let you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have just witnessed 5 Ghosts, performance piece created by Ms. Benita Finger. Ms. Benita Finger played the part of the Star Ghost. Her dreamer was played by Jeff Carter, who also wrote Star Dreamer's monologue. The Bird Ghost was played by Edie Larimore. Her dreamer was played and written by Melanie McAvoy. The Water Ghost was played by Michelle Vasquez. Her dreamer was performed and written by Ms. Lamel Seitz. The Death Ghost was Dina Rash Hansen. Her dreamer was performed and written by Frank Lepacki. The Candy Ghost was Magda Seitz, and her dreamer was written and performed by Mr. Jason Quiggle. Thank all of you for participating in tonight's performance. We hope you all have a good evening. Drive safely. Return to the church of your choice.
Sir?
Yes?
I had a question.
Yes?
The performers tonight. Are you running the performers tonight?
I'm associated with the production.
Do you know if they're under contract?
No.
So they'd be available to work on this little business venture I'm hooking up?
Possibly.
Oh, I just have this thing. It's a trifle, really. If everybody's got a few minutes, I'd like to go over it.
Good, I need a drink.
It's the same, you know, hey, it's the same guys who are doing the Fremont Street Experience. How can you go wrong with that? Okay. We get comfortable here. Hi, everybody. How you doing?
Hi.
Oh, it's good to see you. I have a little cultural proposal here. Where was everybody 30 years ago? Where were you?
I was a zygote.
Was anybody else out here a zygote 30 years ago? It's not much of a life, is it?
Not even a twinkle.
Okay.
I was being shot up.
All right, well, 30 years ago I was nowhere. But 30 years ago, and about, I'd say a little over 1,000 miles away in the booming metropolis of New York City, the New York World's Fair, the 64-65 New York World's Fair, was created by the venerable and highly respected Robert Moses, the guy who built the Triborough Bridge. This was an incredible exposition. The theme of the fair was man's achievements in an expanding universe, it says here. And what achievements they were. The 64 World's Fair accurately predicted electronic photo storage, reusable space vehicles, the rise of the Belgian waffle. Well, thank you. It's all my press department. The time has come to look forward once again, and what better place to do so than in the fastest growing city of the US of A. The fastest growing city in the United States, yes! Woo! Oh, bravo. Right now, I'm getting ahead of myself. You're probably considering these important questions. Besides, what the hell is he talking about? What the hell is a World's Fair? What the hell does it have to do with me? And what's it going to take to kill George Burns? I'm sure you've been mulling over that one. Well, I'm not going to go into that, but I will tell you this. A World's Fair is exactly this. A number of exhibits or pavilions devoted to the commerce and culture of either a foreign country or a major corporation like AT&T. Some of the pavilions take glowing looks at history leading up to the present day. Others plunge us into the dark, foreboding, yet oddly titillating glory hole that is the future. The World's Fair makes bedazzling special effects, innovative architecture, groovy modern art, and other stuff. What's that other stuff? What's it called? Ideas, accessible to the modern schmuck. Not that any of you people are the modern schmuck, but never mind. My press department's really done badly by me. I'm sorry, I started off badly. Let me continue. Your time has come, Las Vegas. Cultural wasteland? We hardly think so. How could you possibly debase a town that has created a representation of King Tut's tomb with a nearby lounge and sports bar? Woo! How could you doubt the artistic veracity of a place that displayed Hitler's Mercedes-Benz and the great art of Anthony Quinn? Do you dare insult a town that gave a home to the Liberace Museum? consult this town, which has given the world a new architectural ideal, and a glowing vision of our nation's future, and so much high art. Oh, well, never mind that. Las Vegas already is a World's Fair by those standards. Showcases the world, a truly brilliant synthesis of art and commerce. All we want to do is build an actual fair grounds. You know, big, funky, soon-to-be dated structures, with lots of special effects everywhere. Most importantly, a ticket booth out in front where visitors can pay $30 necessary to enter. Only $29 for Nevada residents. It's this last part that's attracted the interest of several important local businessmen. I've spoken to William Bennett of Circus Circus, spoke to Steve Wynn of Mirage Resorts. I spoke to Robert Stupak of Stupak Company. They're absolutely wild about the idea, but understandably cautious. They have told me that if I can raise public interest and create a full-scale model and artistic representations, they'll give generously to the creation of a World's Fair Commission, which will raise your taxes and beat you into a frenzy because the casino owners don't think they should have to pay for this because they won't be the ones visiting it. Well, be that as it may. Well, that's a quote. Once we've created interest, we begin building on some land near the northwest outskirts of town, or there someplace. It'll take the destruction of some slum areas and the relocation of some of Nevada's fine Native American population, but Stupak has assured me that that won't be a problem. He says, quote, "I've moved people before, and I'll do it again," unquote. Now there's some dedication for you. Mr. Bennett assures me the construction will be completed within 2 months. 2 months, so we can get it in before the end of the year so it can be a '94 World's Fair. We'll be open on December 31st. We're using the same crew that slapped up the Luxor in under a year, William told me. We're hoping that a learning curve was created by that experience. With the 1994 World's Fair construction, we're hoping for faster work, more creative work, less settling, no cave-ins, and God willing, no more casualties. But, you know, we'll see. You can't make an omelet without breaking eggs. Steve Wynn's contribution will probably be the most significant of all. Is everybody sitting? This is what Steve told me. Steve has volunteered his resources toward the creation of the biggest man-made lake in history, which our fair will sit right in the middle of, an island unto itself. Steve gave me this statement to read to you. Of course I've got the fucking water. What do you think, I'm some kind of fool? You wouldn't let me build my canals downtown, but I'm completely over that. I don't care anymore. I'm going to put the fucking Mediterranean right in your backyards, and I'm doing it for you. Isn't that beautiful? Just like the '64 New York Fair, we will have a fair theme. These were some of the possibilities we considered before settling on the final slogan. The '64 World's Fair was man's role in an expanding universe. We considered man's role in an expanding universe 2, Electric Boogaloo. That didn't really fly. From cave drawings to Ace Ventura, the history of communication, we couldn't get the licensing. If hormones were brains, we'd all be Stephen Hawking. Well, Stephen wants to sue, and you can probably understand why. Anything for a buck. Couldn't slide that one past Jan Jones. And of course, better to be here than stay home and masturbate bitterly. The ACLU says that's not necessarily true. Excellent slogans all, but it was Gregory Crosby, a partner in the soon-to-be-feared World Fair Commission, that hit this particular nail on the head with his big metaphor hammer. The theme of the 1994-1995 Las Vegas World's Fair will be Our Insane World! Yes! How else can you describe a world where a group of men calling themselves the Jerky Boys can become folk heroes? How else can you sum up a world where a radio personality who calls himself Fart Man can run for public office? How else can you describe a world where a nation intent on banning violence in its mass media has a national anthem that describes a battle that slaughtered hundreds? How can you describe it? Crazy, daft, goofy, wacky, cuckoo, insane. Now then. Some of the pavilions have already been planned out. They're already drawn. I can tell you about it. as you can see by illustration A here. If I was holding up illustration A, you would see a beautifully drawn, completely chalked illustration of David S. Curtis's representation of the Monster Truck Pavilion. Brainchild of myself, Mr. Gregory Crosby, and a local author and poet who asked not to be named after your possible reprisals. The history of monster trucks from ancient Greece to the present day. And a daring look at the monster trucks of the distant future. Plus, you'll be able to see the famed Trojan monster truck. And imagine the curious citizens of Troy as they dragged the mighty truck inside their safeguarded city, then fled in terror as the soldiers poured out of the enormous bed of the truck, wielding swords and shields, drunk on the power of conquest, Budweiser, and the music of ZZ Top. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday! Come see the Deforestation Pavilion, presented by Burger King. And find out how modern methods are not only speeding the beef to your intestines, but creating the paper that the beef is wrapped in at the same time. Take a magical musical tour with Paco, an animated bulldozer driver created by the Don Bluth Studios, the same animation geniuses who brought you such unqualified masterpieces as An American Tale. You guys saw American Tale, right? Wasn't that cute? Remember Once Upon a Forest? He did that too. Rock-a-Doodle. Come on, you guys had to have seen Rock-a-Doodle. In a startling blend of animation and live action, Paco, voiced by rock star Ted Nugent, finds the magic bulldozer, fires it up, and uproots all of Managua. The 15-minute film features virtual reality-style computer-generated special effects, show-scan 3D segments, and Super Panavision 70. The film is conveniently split among three different theaters, each featuring 5 minutes of the whole film to create a trilogy effect. Done from Bennett. People like trilogies, Bennett claimed. Star Wars, Back to the Future, Secrets of the Luxor Pyramid, celebrity deaths. Plus, you get the suckers to pay 3 different times. A giant display of modern and prototype tree uprooters and road pavers is also featured, along with a small section devoted to ecosystems, rainforests, and the other stuff that the ACLU said we had to put in to avoid a lawsuit. Chef Jeff Morris, working closely with your local gas company, has created a dining experience you won't want to miss. 10 4-star restaurants under the same roof, the lovely Don't Walk By Me or I'll Hurt You structure called the Festival of Gas. Right outside the pavilion is the innovation that just might save the starving nations of the Third World. The world's biggest solar-powered cocktail weenie cooker, sponsored by Heinz and Reynolds Wrap. Come bite into the wiener of the next century. We've even found a way to recycle a famous Vegas icon. As soon as construction is underway, the saucer roof of the defunct Landmark Hotel, you guys know the Landmark, right? We're going to take the saucer section off and replace it with a giant mirrored disco ball. And every night, at closing time, a high-powered spotlight will be aimed at the ball and turned on. Can you imagine that? A giant spotlight over Las Vegas? Think how cool that's going to be. All the buildings at the World's Fair are going to have giant spotlights coming out at the top. All of them. All of them. This particular one's going to be aimed at the disco ball inside the Landmark. The ball will start to turn, turning Las Vegas for 5 minutes at least into the world's largest discotheque. The World's Fair theme, tag teams, whoop, it's the fair, will be simulcast over every Valley radio station at that time in over 60 different languages, and people say we're not being international. This attraction is sponsored by Club Rio, who would like to invite you to come back to see the new singing chef riding Rio Rita like a filly. Never mind. Right now, I'd like to introduce some of the people who've helped to make this, helped to get this rolling. Jason Quiggle. Come on up here, Jason. Jason's working on a pavilion right now. As I understand it, it's inspired by Operation Rescue's Randall Terry. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
It's the pro-life adult bookstore and video arcade. And you gotta pay like $1 to get in. And then there's aisles of propaganda literature and chick tracts. And there's a video arcade, and you gotta pay like $0.25 for about 60 seconds of, propaganda films are really snuff films. And whatnot.
And is this okay?
Bring the kids, yeah.
This is okay for
Yeah.
the family?
Because, you know, family values, that's what it's all about.
Are you going to have a snack or?
Snack? Oh, yeah, placenta pie. Amniotic ambrosia.
Jason?
Amongst...
Yeah, Jason, thank you. Thank you. Pro-Life is the Pro-Life Museum, thank you. Now I'd like to talk to one of my partners in this venture, Greg Crosby. Greg. Come on, Greg. I told you you'd have fun with this. Greg Crosby, everybody. You want to sell this, don't you? Look professional. So, Mr. Crosby, I understand you're helping to put together a pavilion for this, an art pavilion of some kind.
Yes, indeed, the elitist art pavilion.
The elitist art pavilion. What kind of pavilion is that?
Well, basically the structure will be a tower, a mile high. Imagine that, a mile-high tower in Las Vegas.
Won't that be glorious?
The tower will be constructed entirely of ivory, taken from the tusks of tusks. Tusks. That's a hard word to say, isn't it? Tusks. We had a hard time with the tusks, but we went to Alabama where the Tuscaloosa.
so guilty when you say it.
And
You're choking.
yeah. And it'll be entirely constructed from ivory, and there'll be a little ornate entrance at the very base of it, and with a velvet rope across it. And you'll be able to see some of the finest of fine arts past the velvet rope.
And how do you get into the elitist art pavilion?
I don't think these people are interested. I'm sure that Melrose Place is on that night.
But what's admission going to be? How much will it cost to get in?
Like all art, it will cost you your mortal soul.
Okay, and how do you? Can you just go in through the doorway? How do you?
Listen, these people. I think Billy Ray Cyrus is playing that.
Gregory,
it's okay.
all right, get out of here. Get out of here. You make me sick. There will also be next door a kind of a dumbed-down art pavilion that I'm going to be running. It's going to have crayons, construction paper, and all kinds of neat stuff.